Well, I remember when we first came here, and we came with our older daughter, Trina, and we were talking about doing the tile, and I was sitting there on the couch, and I asked you, why do you want us to make your designs in tile? What would you like us to do with it? And you said, I want to make a lot of tiles, mass industry. That's what I want, to make a lot of them to cover the walls. I remember that. Mass production, that's what you said, mass production.
That's great. That's great. Designer for industry.
Design
That's right.
for industry, yeah.
If you had a choice of doing a very small production or a mass production, which would you prefer?
When we all decided that we wanted to work together and that it was going to be a good match to help Eva bring her designs into tile alive, we had to figure out how to take the three-dimensional that was, really a fully three-dimensional, a wall divider that you could turn around and look from both sides and flatten it out to put on the wall. But we didn't want to flatten it right out and lose everything about it. We had to keep some three-dimensionality to it. We knew that we wanted to have a wall that people would want to walk up to and touch. Once we knew what we were making, then you started to be able to work with Eva making the prototypes for these, and that's where you took over a little bit.
Didn't you make some actual clay samples? Or once you had the ramifications.
We did. Eva and I sat on the couch and made this out of plasticine to make sure that it wasn't just flattened but actually adapted, so it still was the curvy, beautiful shape that the original wall divider was. And I think it's pretty successful because it still has those, especially with this
Because the
lustery
original
glaze
piece,
on it.
So you see, this is just so deep.
And these were meant to be totally three-dimensional
Right.
and build up into a wall.
Right, and
The
so another
transparent
piece
wall.
would go here or on top, but it's so thick, we couldn't mount that on a wall. We couldn't even, a lot of times, Stephen can take a piece and slice it in half, and we can pour a cast, but we couldn't do that with this either because it would just be too much, too heavy for tile.
Oh, just beautiful
So-
how it turned out. And
So-
show the empty in the back.
Right, and to make it light in the back, and obviously just then flatten the whole thing down, but not lose the curvy, lovely shape that Eva loves so much.
Gosh, the axes.
Yeah.
How do they go together?
They go together.
Some flat ones.
Yeah,
They can go together like this.
Down here.
Or they can, yeah.
Fabulous.
She has to feel how it comes up here. Yeah, this
Let
is
me
still
see.
not working.
Let me see, please.
Gene, you could probably tell a little more about the actual origin of the shapes. I don't know exactly when they were made, but they were salt and pepper shakers.
These were the
This
salt.
was the
Salt?
salt. Just the
That's
almost
right.
the balloon taking off.
That's right. These were salt and pepper shakers for a dinnerware set, right?
Yeah.
And then they thought, wouldn't they make nice tiles? So you adjusted them for tiles. And the black and white is symbolic of the salt and the pepper. Yeah?
We just thought they were really sweet shapes. And, we just thought they'd be really nice to just basically cut in half and flatten on the back, but they were just beautiful sculptural shapes.
Is it easier to convey feelings
Yeah.
through a curve?
Yeah. No. Didn't you see the difference?
I did.
Straight line is giving you information. Information.
Mm-hmm. And the curvy line is giving you feelings?
Yeah.
Exactly. It's from this guy. And Eva and I work out this shape. And this is about the 8th go round of a bird shape. There were, if I just attempt a bird shape, it to look like Eva's, it won't look like quite right. It has to have the constant back and forth with Eva to get it right. And once she's happy with all of the details of it, then we'll turn it into the three-dimensional model, go back and forth with that, where she can, make sure all the curves are correct. And then what we'll do is flip that around so we can have the two of them kissing. But it's important, to get all these, the kind of cute beak and tail and the things that make it so sweet and touchable. We work side by side together, passing it back and forth and making sure that all of these little things are right. And I'm molding it out of plasticine with a tool, and Eva will say, make this a little thinner or make this a little rounder or so on until we get to this point. So now this will be cast onto a rectangular tile. They'll make their mold from it or with it, and we may have to, look at that and then make sure those curves are correct. Doesn't that feel good? The rubber, the model. Is this the model or the mold or the part?
So what you give me, I make a
Here, look, Mom. This is the mold.
The negative of the belly button. It's an outie. This is so great because you were able to use the existing one from the 50s, and it just looks so good.
What I would get from Eva and Olivia would be the actual piece, and then I would cast a case mold, and out of that I would get a rubber positive, and that's what I can make a production mold out of to really start. Really, in this case, we started to make a prototype. So this is what we made the prototypes out of. So when I get the bird, what I'll do is cast a rubber case mold and then make a rubber bird and then put those on tiles, and then we can make production molds from there. Once we make the rubbers and we're able to make prototypes, that's when the fun begins and you're actually starting to make ceramic, and you can play with how the designs start to work, and you can think about colors and try different glazing techniques, and really how the line's going to start coming together. Really, as a sum of its parts, it becomes more. It's not just the shapes, but you're thinking about how does this become a whole tile line where you could actually think about the installation of a piece in a bathroom or in a living room or anywhere. So that's really the next step. This step is really nice because we get to show Eva really what the concept was when we all got together, and how we're going to turn this into a tile line that people can really use, that is adapted from pieces that had other uses. So in some ways it's recycling Eva's designs to have a new life. And it's really been a fun process to see how that's starting to come alive.